Good evening to anyone who's out there listening. I just thought I'd come in and do a Corona check in. Um, First of all, I just want to say that I hope that everybody is being safe. And I just want to talk about what's going on. Just having to be home here lately, because of everything that's going on. I've been doing a lot of watching the news, and I'm normally a news junkie, but having been home, y'all, I'm so overwhelmed with the amount of news that I'm watching, and it's getting to the point where now that I truly understand all the stuff that this administration did and didn't do, that I'm feeling some type of way. I am I'm angry. I'm very mad. And I wanted to check in with other people across the country. Now that we have sat back, we're home, we're watching the news, and we're seeing, you know, how early that they knew that something was going on in China, and how they didn't alert the the public. So y'all, what I'm feeling is I'm pissed. And the reason why I'm pissed is because every day when I get up and decide to turn on the news and I see how many people have died. Now, when you look at the grand scheme of things and how many people that there actually are in the United States, I guess when you look at it that way, it's not that many people as, they claim. But when I think of almost 17,000 people being dead, now think about this, y'all. Today is just April the 9th. These people have died within the last month. Because remember, he was on television, I think it was around March 8th or 9th, saying that there were only 15 cases, that it was going to go down to zero. So what I'm seeing now is in that time, mere like 3 to 4 weeks, we have lost almost 17,000 people to this. And then all of these tens of thousands of people who are infected with it. And think about this, y'all. This is only the people who have been tested. I could be sitting here right now talking to y'all and be infected, carrying it, and not even know it because we can't get a test unless you damn near dead. And even the people who are sick are having problems getting a test. Like if you're starting to feel some kind of way and you start to get sick, you can't even get a test. And proof of that is you got nurses who are on the front line, doctors, healthcare workers, and they can't get tests. Now, another thing I want to ask y'all, because I made me a mask because I am diabetic, and every time I see the people that they say, you know, when they get this, they suffer real bad. Diabetics are in that list. Now, they're not saying that we are more susceptible to getting it, but what they're saying is if we get it, we are the people or one of the people who it doesn't fare well, that we get really sick. We're the ones that have the problems, along with people with hypertension, lung and heart disease, COPD. Because what I'm learning about this thing is you have pneumonia. You are fucking sick. People can't breathe. I watched this nurse talk about her her 5-year-old daughter getting it 5 days before she did. And she said that if her daughter was going to get it, she was glad that her daughter got it before her, so at least she could give her those 5 days of caring for her before she actually got sick with it. Y'all, this stuff is crazy. So yes, When I do happen to venture out the house, I am wearing a mask. Now, something else this starting to really aggravate me, and I just stopped watching because I want to fuck him up, y'all. Are y'all watching or have you watched any of Trump's lying ass press conferences? Y'all, this man is so delusional. And y'all, when I watch him, it is past delusional. Something is wrong with him. He actually acts like that he is a king. Like when you watch this, he acts like he's a king, or he's a ruler or an emperor. And these people that are around him, they don't work for the American people, that they actually work for him. He when he wouldn't let that doctor, when one of those reporters asked the doctor a question, and he like jumped in front of that little doctor and answered the question for him, and he's answering medical questions that he is not qualified to answer. I started saying he is past being, y'all, like you know how we've been saying he's narcissistic and all of that. You know how we've been saying all of that. He's past that, y'all. Something is seriously fucking wrong with him, because when you watch these press conferences, he is out of touch. He keeps saying that we are doing better testing than anyone else in the world. And y'all, that's just not true. Get sick and try to go to the hospital or go to your doctor and try to get a test. You are going to run into all kinds of roadblocks. You're not going to be able to get one. Y'all, I have heard or watched news broadcasts where a police officer got sick and he went to the ER. He was real sick. They did, I guess, what they could for him, but he wasn't sick enough, I guess, in their opinion, to hospitalize. So he left there and died out on the street a few blocks away. Literally, the man killed over and died. Also, there some of these nurses are saying that they have people who are literally in the hospital. They've come there for treatment, and they're finding them dead, like sitting up in chairs, killing over in the hospital. Literally, these people are dropping dead on the spot. The reason why I bring this up is because, y'all, if I wasn't scared before, I'm like past scared to get this. Now, I do understand that everybody that get it does not suffer the same and all of that. I do understand that there are people recovering every day. I get all of that. But how do we know that that will be us? How do we know that if we actually get it, that we will be one of the people that, we make it through it? You see that there are people that are in their 80s and 90s that survive it. And then I say, well, okay, well, if this old lady could survive it, maybe I could. But you just don't know. You know, you just you're not gonna know until you actually get it. And then, while I'm on the topic of Trump, if anybody else still believes in this man, still supports him, still thinks he's doing a good job, you know what? They are brain dead too. Because there is no way, now that we know that this man, in my last video, I said that he knew about it since December, but even more information is coming out saying that possibly he knew about this back last November and was given several warnings that he ignored. He wanted to talk about something else, he didn't take it seriously. So when people are saying that he has blood on his hands. At first, I was looking at the memes and laughing and, not laughing, but like, y'all, these people are being a little extra. But y'all, now that I know that he knew about it since November, and even people that are standing on the stage with him, some of them had tried to warn him and he would not listen. Now, the reason why that's important is because during that time, he could have been stocking up shit where it wouldn't have been this bad for our healthcare workers, and maybe we wouldn't have lost all of these people that we've lost. So, if anyone out there is still thinking about voting for him, so he can get reelected, something is wrong with them, y'all, because I can't even fathom that. Another thing that has hit me hard in the last couple days, and it has really, I'm not going to say that it surprised me, and once I tell you what it is, you'll know why. What has really bothered me is that they're saying that our people, black people, are dying and being affected in greater numbers. Now, I want to say this is not happening to us just because we're black. That's not the reason. It doesn't have it don't have nothing to do with this melanin we got popping in our skin. What it has to do is the illnesses that are vulnerable to it. Diabetics, hypertension. I had a list, but I don't know what I did with it. But y'all know the illnesses that are more prevalent in the African American community. Because of that, when we get it, we are not faring well because we have those underlying issues. And this is yet another reason why I'm staying in the house as much as I can, because I started off by telling y'all that I'm diabetic. So it scares me. And especially when I sat up and watched them talk about, you know, even that Dr. Fauci, the little short doctor, he said that yes, it's true that we are dying in greater numbers because of those underlying, you know, illnesses that we have as a people. And that, y'all, that breaks my fucking heart to know that in Chicago and Michigan and down in Atlanta and down in Georgia and Florida, just all across this country, you know, my people are getting this and suffering like we always do more than any other group of people. It just breaks my heart, which brings me to something else, y'all. Okay, with Easter approaching, I noticed that a lot of these churches are, you know, still planning on having people come in. They're still busing people in, saying that, they are protected because they are covered in the blood of Jesus and all of that. You know what? I believe that I'm covered in the blood of Jesus too. But I'm not stupid when they tell you that when we gather, because y'all, the very thing that makes us human, those interactions that we have with each other, loving on each other, spending time with each other, and just being in groups, that's the very thing that helps you get the virus. So if you are a pastor and you are a thinking, observant person, which you also have to believe in science too. Why would you put your parishioners in danger when scientists are telling you that the very act of us getting together is what's causing it to spread? I just don't get that. To me, that's there's this pastor, I think he's in Louisiana. He's a white pastor, and he has that like Jim Jones thing going on. You know, um, the way he speaks and stuff. And then I sat and watched them bus in all those people. And amongst those people were a lot of our people, y'all, walking in, hugging each other. And I was yelling at the television, no, go home, hide yourself, blah, blah, blah. It just boggles my mind. I am not the type of person that's gonna let somebody else, dictate or sway me into doing something that, in other words, I can think for myself. I also believe, that you don't have to go to a building to worship God. And that's what makes me believe that a lot of this has to do with the almighty dollar. Because this is, okay, let me just ignore that. This is something that is unbelievable. Like I've said before, I am 55 years old. I have never seen anything like this happen in my life. I have a 90 something year old grandmother who, you have the advantage of her wisdom and her talking to you about, you know, what she's seen in her years. I have my mother. Nothing like this has ever happened where they shut down all of this stuff that they're shutting down. I don't care what this person is typing in this chat. In my 55 years, in my mother's 70 something years, and in my grandmother's almost 100 years, nothing like this has ever happened. Yeah, we done had um, a pandemic back in 1918, but look how long ago that was. This is serious. And I am not about to let someone else think for me. I want to gather facts on my own. And I suggest that's what y'all do. I want, if you have a question, if you are confused about something, do your own homework. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. In other words, don't let someone sway your opinion. When I come on here and talk, I speak from what I've watched. And then if it's something I don't understand or I'm a little unclear on, I go out and do my research. I don't listen to my friends. I figure like this: they haven't walked that much further in life than I have, and we all watching the same thing. If we don't do our own due diligence, protect our own families, then who else is going to protect us? Another thing that has tricked me that I found out. You know how these governors are on television begging for supplies and all that stuff? Well, I was watching the news and different, you know, governors are saying that their shipments were intercepted by the federal government. Now, y'all, this is why that that kind of alarmed me, because when I was watching the news, they also said that our national stockpile is pretty much depleted. That the broken up shit that they had, that they sent out that, the outdated stuff, they already sent out that. So they depleted it. Now, remember when Jared Kushner was on television in that news conference and he said it's ours? So I, I'm thinking like this because I saw Trump said something like that, what's there is for federal employees. And I'm wondering, do they mean like senators, congressmen, his administration and all of that? So what I started thinking about, I said, okay, if the stuff that was in the national stockpile was outdated, dry rotted, you know did they intercept those shipments that were going to those governors so they can replenish it so they could have supplies for themselves, since the stuff in there was older. Because it's leading me to believe the reason why they keep on intercepting these shipments that were supposed to go to these different states is because they were trying to replenish the stockpile for themselves. And when I say themselves, I mean the Trump administration, his cronies, and because I'm pretty sure that if it's up to him who he's passing it out to, not a Democrat is gonna get one. I don't believe that any Democratic senator, congressman, whatever, I don't believe they're going to get it, because if he was intercepting it for his own personal use, trust me, he's not giving them anything. I find that a little bit odd, y'all. Just a little bit odd, because we out here making mass DIY and mass because the richest country, Trump likes to get on television and talk about how America is the greatest civilization that ever graced the face of the earth. Now, y'all know that that's not quite true. When you look at how young America really is in the grand scheme of the world, there have been other great civilizations. I won't take away from us that we're great, but we're not the greatest. We're one of the greatest, because you have all kind of empires that were around before America was even thought of. Come on now, let's. But that's part of being an American. We're supposed to be proud of our country, and I don't take that from us. But let's keep it real now. We're not the greatest civilization that ever has been on the earth. We only been around for a few hundred years. There are dynasties that were around for thousands of years. Y'all, come on. I don't know. A lot of stuff that is happening now it's just making me think about everyday people like me and you. So what I want to ask is, I know a lot of us, our jobs were affected by it. So as I told you in my last video, I'm in healthcare, and I'm in administrative healthcare. Basically, I work for a health insurance company. Y'all all know that by now. So um, we can work from home. So my job, because y'all, unfortunately, as long as we are alive as humans, there will always be sick people. And unfortunately, because of that reason, I will always have a job. As long as there's a health insurance company and there are sick people, I will always have a job. Okay. But it made me think about people whose jobs are just simply shut down. They're just out the blue, no planning, no, they didn't have a chance to stack some money. So, they could kind of be prepared. They didn't have a chance to stock up their freezers, their cabinets. It makes me worry about them. So I wanted to know, like, if your job has been closed, how are you making it? Were you able to pay your rent this month? Were you able to pay your mortgage, or, make sure that you have everything that you need in the house to make it through this? Because this is this wasn't something that was your fault. One day you were working and the next day your damn job was closed. So what I want to tell y'all is this. Something else I was watching, and I just said, you know what? If I was out here and I didn't have, I'm not gonna be proud. If you out of food, don't be proud. If it's a church in your area giving out food, or if it's a food bank, go get you some what you need. This is not a time to be proud. This is a time to take care of you and yours. That's most important. When you go out, only have one person go out. The whole family don't need to go. Get your mask, get your hand sanitizer, and go do what you need to do for your family. Because y'all, let me tell you something. If if my kids are grown, but if they were still at home, I would be moving heaven and earth to make sure that I had everything in my house to make sure that me and my kids were okay. So if you need anything, if you run out of food, don't be proud. Go to those doggone food banks, go to your local church, Google in your area. Like if you need something, where's the closest place to you? Don't be proud. And while we're talking about that, I wanted to talk about the stimulus checks. Okay. So, they claim that we're going to be getting $1,200 whenever, y'all, because I don't actually believe that it's going to be coming out next week, like they claim that. Now, let me first tell y'all what I heard, and then I'll tell you why I want to be wrong. Hey, how are you? I want to be wrong on this, y'all. I want to wake up Monday morning and have egg all over my face and be wrong. But what I heard is that if you filed your taxes electronically and you had your bank account in there for the IRS, that you're gonna get your check first, and they're gonna start sending out those electronic deposits Monday. Now, this is what they said, y'all. Monday or Tuesday. At first, it was supposed to be the end of next week, but I watched on something that they claim that we're going to start getting them Monday. Then they said that the people that get, I guess, like Social Security, SSI, or if you're on some type of program like that, I heard that they were going to be in that wave as well. It seems like the people that are going to be last um, are going to be the people that get a paper check. Now, on that tip, y'all, they talk about the IRS adding something to their website where you can go on there and, I guess, put in your bank account information or update it or whatever. Now, here's why I don't. I'm not saying that I don't believe that eventually that they may get it together, but y'all know how slow the federal government moves. I think for some people it's gonna be months before they see any money. Months. And I believe it's because, first of all, look who we got in the White House. It's a shit show, y'all. They're not organized. They come on television, popping their chops, flapping their lips, but I don't see any real organization. When you have your son-in-law heading up, and y'all, let's face it, Jared Kushner is in his 30s. He's a little bit older than my son, and my son just turned 33. Now, I'm not gonna say that it's certain things that my son tells me and I learn from him, but he should not be even part of this. They need professionals, people who have handled things like this. And I, I just don't I just don't trust anything that Trump has his hand in for it to work out the way that they claim it's going to be. So that's why I say that this whole thing where we're going to be getting checks starting Monday, I want to be wrong. Like I said, I would want for this to be one time there's something that he said or that this administration said to come true. And the reason why is because there are so many people out there hurting. I live in a townhome community, and um, I live on an in unit, and my in unit is right where they keep, it's like a little, a shed, and they keep all of the supplies for my little cul-de-sac in it. So I saw our maintenance guy there, and he said, how am I doing? And I was telling him that I was staying in the house, and he said, Rachelle, do you want me? I know you can't come out. If you want me to, I can take your rent over to the office. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not opening the door, but I'll throw the check out the window in an envelope. And he took it over for me because his wife is the one that handles, collecting the rental payments. But what he was telling me when he was standing there is just how many people called them and told them that they don't have a job and they weren't prepared for this, so they don't have the money to pay their rent. The reason why I'm bringing that up is people need this damn money. They don't need incompetent administration where it adds time to when you get the money, because we already know that the federal government moves slow. And with this administration, can y'all imagine? Like I said, I just hope I'm wrong and that money does start coming out Monday, Tuesday. Can y'all type in the ones that are here? Do you know of anyone who has who has gotten it, or have you heard of anyone who's actually gotten the check, or even notification that it's coming? I don't know, y'all. I just cannot believe what is going on right now. Um, some days I'm sitting in this house, and yes, I'm bored too. I'm an empty nester. I have a little male friend, but we don't live together. He lives on the other side of town. I live on a different side of town. He still has to go out to work. So, I'm a little leery about going over there or having him come over here. So that leaves me with, and then think about it. I don't have to go out to work. So I'm in the house, you know, probably 80% of the time. So I cannot even believe this, y'all. I cannot even believe that in America, who we say we're the greatest country on earth right now, that we are going through this. I see that you said over 6 million people filed for unemployment. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's this is just, like I said, I believe that had they really addressed this back in November, just investigated what he was being told. Like, if one would have came to me and I was the president and they were saying, "Hey, look, we got a pandemic coming from, heading this way," I would have been getting ready. That's just like when you're told that a hurricane is coming or something. Those people start batting down the hatches, boarding up stuff. You get ready, you prepare. You don't let shit hit you and then you ass out and then come on television lying. Now he's saying that he knew all along that it was going to be bad. If I were a family member of someone who had died, y'all, and I was slowly finding out all of this stuff, I would be pissed. And something else, him, and I wanted, because somebody put he didn't shut down the border soon enough. You know what? He shut off the border to China, but from what they're saying, it didn't. Of course, it started over there, but they're saying that he didn't shut it down to Europeans, and those are the ones that carried it over here. Okay, I'm hearing, because day by day we're finding out a little bit more. And I don't think with how business is global and businessmen travel. Y'all, I used to be a travel agent, so I know this for a fact. And I was a corporate travel agent. So the people that I was booking travel for were businessmen. They travel everywhere. They even had something called road shows that I used to have to book. Now, this is what would happen. They would use their company jet and they would fly to places where they had different offices. So each day they just say they might be in New York, they might be in Illinois, they might be down in Florida. So that businessman could have went over to do business over, just saying, in Europe, came back with the information that he had gathered from over there, from his meetings over there. And then he had to do a road show where he was going to different parts of, different states to speak to the executives there, to all talk about what he had found out and how they were going to handle business. And he could have been passing it around. We don't know. Um, we don't know when it exactly got here, who was uh, victim one of who brought it actually to us. And there's something about hindsight. It's over. We can't change it. It's here now. And you got almost 17,000 people dead. 17,000 people. And I'm so tired of people saying, oh, this is just like the flu. People die every year from it. And, and if it was your family member and you knew that it could have been prevented, or at least maybe we could have cut in half the number of people that had died, you wouldn't want to hear that bullshit. I'm sorry. You wouldn't want to hear it. You would be pissed knowing that maybe if our country had prepared itself, that maybe your family member would be alive. I don't know. And then when you hear about how these people suffer, the ones that get it real bad, that not being able to breathe, y'all, do you know how scary that must be to not be able to breathe? That is involuntarily we breathe. You know what I mean? You can hold your breath, but eventually your body is going to say, okay, that's it. I'm breathing. But to not be able to breathe, to be, we heard that it was just coughing and sneezing. No. When they put these people on the ventilator, that is the last straw. That means that they can't breathe for themselves anymore. It's just, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. All of this has made me really reflective. It has shaken me to my core. I used to watch those people. You know how those people that are preppers, they set up their basements and they buy canned goods. I remember growing up that my grandmother used to have all kind of canned goods down the basement, and her pantry was always filled. My grandmother never bought like a bag of sugar or like a 5 pound bag of sugar. My grandmother would buy like these big, huge bags, but she also had 12 kids, so she had to feed them. But she would buy big bags of flour and what she called meal. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I used to like kind of laugh at people that did all that prepping, but now I wish that I had been one of them, because I would have probably helped people who didn't have a lot, you know, because I have friends that literally one day they were at work and the next day they were told not to come back. And so when I was talking to my one friend, and she said, literally, Rachel, I didn't know this was coming. So, we're all like 2 to 3 paychecks from being damn near homeless. So now she's suffering, you know? People don't have, stockpiles of money. And that's another thing that bothers me. They tell the average American that we should have 2 to 3 months money in the bank in case of hard times, but they don't tell that to these big companies. They constantly bailing them out. I actually don't think they should have bailed out any of them. I don't think any of that money that Congress just passed should be given to any one of them. Because this is why I say that. Give the money to the American people. And when we get back out there, we'll start flying again. We'll start buying stuff again. But until such time as this virus is gone, don't be giving them that money. Because the airlines, the last time they gave them a bailout, they took the money and bought back the stock that they had lost or they had to sell off. They didn't do stuff to help their employees. The only business that I see that took the money and did right by it is the car industry. They took the money and did, from what I'm understanding, what they were supposed to do with it. But the airline, fuck them. I'm sorry. I'm sick of them. They even threatened to lay off tens of thousands of employees if they didn't get some money. That's blackmail. You know? I don't know, y'all. I'm over everything with the Trump administration. And you don't want to tell people how to vote, but look at what's going on. Look at look at what's happening out here. Um there were so many mistakes made, so many lies told, so so much deceit and underhanded things done, and we are almost at his mercy. I had asked today on a Facebook uh, chat that I was in, what can we do as the American people that literally get them out? You know, the impeachment didn't work, but y'all, if he gets another 4 years, we are screwed. I got one of the guys that I grew up with. He was saying, seriously saying that if Trump gets reelected, that he's thinking about moving his family to Canada. He's already put in, because he works in construction or something. So he's already put fillers out about finding a job there. His wife is in healthcare like I am. And, they've put fillers out about, you know, they don't want to live in America anymore. This is I call him a boy because, the kids that you grew up with, you still see them as the kids that you grew up with. But when I saw him say that, I put in there, are you serious? And he said, yeah, Rachel, I'm really serious. He said, it's just next door. Canada is just next door, and he said, I'm just over America. And especially if this man gets in again. And when I logged off Facebook, you know how you're like, wow, this is really deep. I don't know, y'all. I'm not going to be on here too much longer. I just want to say this. I always end my lives with saying this. Take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Do what you think is best for your family. Like I said, if you need something and you have resources in your area, don't be too proud. Don't if you need to go to a food bank, that's what I told my friend. I can't help her. Look, I'm keeping my own bills on. I can give her a few dollars, but I can't pay her rent. Got to worry about my own shit. But like this person said, pray. I've been doing a lot of praying. And I actually believe that God is angry with us, that He is just not pleased with what's going on in this beautiful world that He created. He is not pleased. And I just think that this is like a wake up call for humanity, to do better, because look at what he's doing. He's bringing us away from each other. And in the meantime, the world is healing itself. They're showing different places where water is clear, air is clear. Maybe God is telling us we need to appreciate what He gave us. We need to appreciate each other. We need to love each other and love this world that He gave us. Sometimes when I go outside, when I could go outside, and I would just be driving along, and where I live at is a lot of little country roads and trees and stuff and flowers, and sometimes I'm riding along and I look up at the sky and it's real blue and everything is in blooming, and the world just looks so beautiful that it humbles me and it makes me say, and I'm not real religious, y'all. I don't go to church, but it makes me believe that there is something bigger than me that created all of this. And I'm humbled, you know? And when I look at what's going on now, this is very humbling. I see people making jokes and I see people, trying to make light. And I believe for some people it's a coping mechanism, but I don't think this is funny. Um, I feel so sorry for those almost 17,000 people who have died from this, who suffered and died. There is no amount of prayer that I can send to their family members to to make them feel better, because all of us have lost someone, you know, and that feeling that you're never going to see them again. It's is the worst feeling. And especially with something like this, because we're finding out that these people are dying in hospitals alone, that their families cannot even be there with them in their last moment, you know? It's crazy, y'all. This is crazy. And for anyone who believes something like this has happened in our lifetimes, because if I'm 55, I'm pretty sure some of you who are listening are either in my age bracket, younger, or a little bit older. Like I said, my grandmother will be 95 in June. And in her 95 years, she said that she's never seen anything like this. My grandmother is in a nursing facility. And the sad thing about it is we can't see her, because as soon as they found out what was going on, they locked down the nursing facility. So we can't even visit her. The only thing we can do is talk to her, you know, is to call her, and they bring her to the phone or whatever, because she's not one for cell phones and all of that. So, they actually have to go get her. But I was sitting the other day and I was thinking to myself, what if I never got a chance to see my grandmother again? Let's face it, she's 95, you know? What if, and she's sick now. That's why she's there. What if she gets sicker and I'm never able to see her again? That bothers me. Or that she will pass in a place where there's strangers. She still has 10 kids alive, and they're worried, you know? I heard a story about someone else's grandmother who was in one of those nursing facilities, and she died and they couldn't find her. And a couple weeks later, they found her in the morgue as, listed as unknown because they didn't know who she was. That's sad, y'all. This is crazy. This is crazy. So I just want to end by telling everybody, take care of yourself. If you're in the house, think about this. Everybody that's in that house with you loves you more than anything else out there in those streets. If you're home with your kids, Look at them and love on them. If you're home with just a spouse, enjoy your time together, because right now going out is not that important, other than getting your what you need. Don't venture out. Don't don't take a chance, because we don't know which one of us would get it and not fare well with it. And that's the part that scares me. One of my kids is classified as a essential worker. It's my son. My daughter works for an insurance company, financial. I think. Well, she works for Nationwide. Yeah, The one Nationwide is on your side. Yeah, she works for them, so she can work from home. So every day, only thing I could do for my son is pray for him, uh, and just nag him about being careful. But he has to work. He has to go to work, because if he doesn't, he won't be able to take care of himself. He's 33. He has to get out there and work. And when I fuss at him about taking care of himself, he lets me get done, and then he'll say, "Mom, I gotta work." You know, I don't have kids. It's just me. I have to take care of myself. So if you're one of those people and you have to go out, just be real careful, because you got so many people that love you, that if something was to happen to you, because all of us have somebody that loves us, that cares about us. If something were to happen to you, they would be devastated. And also, you don't want to suffer with this this silent plague, because I actually believe that this is a plague. And this person said, "I love you." It's funny that you say that, because every I just put on Facebook that all my friends and my family, I'm the type of person that when I see you, you're my family, you're my friend. When I leave you, I always say I love you. Or if we're talking on the phone and we're about to hang up, I always say I love a person, because I lost a 27-year-old nephew last year. And what bothered me is I hadn't seen him in a little bit, and I didn't get a chance, to say I love you to him. Now I know that he knows, that he knew that I loved him, but just to see him and say it. So to that person that says, I love you too. And with that, y'all, stay safe, take care of your family, and be careful out there. I'm going to come back in a couple days and we'll do this again. I just like checking in with everybody. And I guess I just like talking it out, because this has really, really humbled me, and it has made me very, very reflective, y'all. I'm very, really, really thinking about my relationships with people. And when I get back out there, how the people in my life, you know, we might not be able to touch each other. I don't know what the future looks like for us. Will be will we be able to hug our loved ones again? You know, they're saying that going forward we should stop shaking hands. But if you see your loved ones, will you be able to hug them again? If we can, I'm gonna tell you, I got three siblings, um, and I want to hug them. I want to hug my kids. The greatest feeling is when my son opens that door, when he comes over and he shuts the door and then he turns around, and the first thing that he does is he hugs me and picks me up, you know, and he'll be like, "Hey, Ma," and picks me up. I miss that. I miss going over my daughter's house for dinner. My daughter can cook her butt off, and she's invited us over several times, and we get together as a family and we laugh and we talk, and then we eat our food, and then we all go home. She wanted to do this every Sunday. We were having so much fun doing that, y'all. Getting together every Sunday over either my son's house, my house, or my daughter's house, just loving on each other, laughing and joking. And now it's texting, FaceTime, calls. we see each other on Facebook. It's crazy. Take care, y'all. Have a good night. I'll see you guys in a couple days. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye now.